The way we commonly act toward each other and the planet is staggering evidence that we at this moment in time function as nothing more than machines that are hell-bent on destroying anything that conflicts with our greed and yearning for power. This state of deep sleep keeps us in our own private worlds because we believe that we are constantly in a mode of survival against everything else. This belief unknowingly binds us to the animal kingdom, but if we can let go of this fear, we can finally become human.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Mellow Majesty. I hope you're doing well today. I hope this video finds you enjoying life, and thanks for being here. So I wanted to make a video about, let's say, 6 ways, a couple ways on how to experience more peace in your life. Peace is something we all could use, right? But how much of the time do we actually get in our own way and get in the way of experiencing peace? Because I think that peace is, obviously it's more than a concept and more than a word. Peace is something that exists beneath our experience. Peace is something that is here already. Peace is not something that we create. You don't go out in the world and create peace. Rather, peace is something that we tap into, or, something that we reveal, or, so like, peace is here. Peace is here if we're willing to allow ourselves to experience it. And there's a quote, we can't have peace in a world where people are at war with themselves. So let that one sink in, man. And especially, we can't have peace in a world where people are at war with nature. Nature needs peace, and so peace is something that comes from within. And we can't expect to experience peace or have a peaceful world if inside each one of us we're so at war with ourselves. We have to let go of our expectations and stop feeling like we need to live up to society's expectations, because society is just an idea, man. If society was a real thing, where is it, right? Where is society? Can you grab it? Can you show it to me? It's just kind of an idea. It's like a collective group creation, and you think that society may think this or society may think that, but society doesn't think. Society just kind of conforms to the idea of itself, but I want to tell you that we are society, that I am society. So we are affecting society. We're not only being affected by it, but we're affecting it as well. And if we want a peaceful society, if we want to live in peace, then we have to be willing to look at ourselves and see, where inside myself am I contributing to the war in the world? Where inside myself am I sharing hate in the world that can lead up to war, essentially? We are that responsible, And the more that we are willing to take responsibility, the more we fucking, have a chance at creating a world that we want to live in. You hear me there? So a couple ways to experience more peace that I thought of. I'm just kind of going free ball here. I didn't really prepare, but the first way is to stand up for yourself. If you want to experience more peace in yourself and less of an inner struggle, then you need to be willing to speak up for your wants and your needs in life. If you just go along with the group because you don't want to upset the scene too much, but inside yourself you're feeling this is wrong, or this isn't me. If you go along with things and refuse to speak up for yourself, then inside yourself, you're going to be more at war with yourself. You're going to be less at peace, rather than, if you're willing to make things uncomfortable sometimes with the social situation because you need to be true to yourself, then I feel that you will experience more peace, knowing that you don't ignore what you really feel inside. When we fail to listen to our inner voice, and when we fail to do what we feel is right, then we're going to be more at war with ourselves because we know we weren't true, right? Another way to experience more peace in your life is stop comparing yourself to others. And, that's probably going to be so hard for all of us because that's what we do. We compare ourselves. But if you could just see yourself as a tree, see each person as a tree. Trees don't compare themselves. Each tree is perfect. Like my mentor Ram Dass, someone who's taught me a lot. He says he practices turning people into trees. When you go out into nature, when you go out into the forest, you don't look at a tree and say oh, that one's too crooked, or where's all the branches on that one. You kind of just instinctively know each tree is perfect in its own expression and in its own manifestation. And he says, I practice turning people into trees. We got to stop comparing ourselves to others because we are each a perfect manifestation of ourselves. My name is Jacob. I'm the perfect Jacob. If I'm trying to be LeBron James, then I'm going to be really upset because I'm not LeBron James, and he is. No one can be you. Weird example maybe, but nobody can be you. You can only be you. You are a unique expression of the universe, man. Real talk. You are a unique expression of nature, perfectly unique and perfect on your own. So the more that we can remember that, when we compare ourselves to others, it either breeds envy or it breeds, righteousness. You say, oh, they're not the way I am, so, F them, they should do things this way. That, or you say, oh, they have more than me, and they make you, then that makes you feel like you're less, right? So comparing yourself to another really, one way or another, it either makes you feel better or worse. And we just need to remember, man, that the more that we can sink into who we are, the more peace we can experience. Because comparing ourselves, it breeds hatred and jealousy, and it's not positive, man. But it's so easy to do. So that's something we can work on, and just realize that that person is good how they are, that they couldn't be anything else than they are, and neither could you, or else you would be, right? So that's another way to experience peace. The third way to experience more peace in your life is just to unplug yourself. What are we feeding ourselves? What kind of information and media and art are we feeding ourselves? It's overload, I'm unplugging myself right now by coming out here to spend time with the natural world. Human beings were not created to take in the news of the entire species, man. That's just way too much. Unplug yourself and realize that, your mental health and sanity is important. You don't need to know what's going on in Illinois right now, or, it's like the news. It'll tell you something that happens 5 minutes ago in another country, and it makes you feel like you're right there, but you're not. So I say be willing to unplug yourself. Be willing to unplug, man, and reconnect if you want to experience more peace, because how much of the stuff that you are feeding yourself is actually helping you, and how much is hurting you? I think the news is addictive. I think, not to just single out the news, but the news on TV and things like that are made to suck in your attention. They want your attention, but it's within your power. It's your power to unplug yourself from it, man, because your sanity matters. You know, each one of us is creating this world, and if you don't take responsibility for your ability to respond and unplug yourself, you know, then you're just going to be a product of whatever the world's throwing at you, you know. Love yourself enough to, you know, unplug and become conscious of what you're actually feeding into your mind and your body. And, you know, we care so much a lot of times about what we're actually eating. A lot of us do care about that, but we don't think twice about watching that, you know, movie full of action and like violence. You know, we may feed our mind and spirit a lot of like different negative things, you know, and it's overload. So I give myself time to unplug and reconnect to myself, because all these other news stories and all this other stuff, it's taking me away from myself. You know, it's just hearing a bunch of stories, but a lot of it's not even around me. You know what I mean? So that's stealing your inner peace. That's stealing your peace, man. The way I see it is that I am responsible for what I'm sharing with this world. And I truly do want to become a mature human, you know? And what I believe is meant by becoming mature and growing up is taking responsibility for what I'm sharing and what I'm putting out there. And I think that's the same for all of us, you know? If you don't want to own up to what you're contributing to this experience, then that's not becoming a whole human being. You know, becoming mature is not about becoming serious. You know, I think having fun and playing and laughing and being goofy is so important, you know? So in order to become an adult and become mature, it doesn't mean being serious. It means being willing to own up to, you know, what you're sharing with the world. So yeah, a little bit off tangent there. But I thought that was useful to say. That's something that I think about a lot. Make time and make space for peace. Set some time aside to sit with yourself and to sit in silence, right? We're so addicted to stimulation. We're so addicted to input, noise. But the peace is to be found in silence. Silence is the language of God, man. 100%. Silence is what allows noise and sounds to even exist, because it's holding everything inside of it, man. And that's kind of what peace is. I think peace and silence are synonymous. And, you know, the more that I kind of feel that I mature and grow, the more I embrace silence, because, you know, I don't see more as better, and I don't see more noise and more stimulation as better. I think giving myself time to digest what's going on and making space is so important to find peace. And you're the only one that can do that. You know, you're the only one that can make time for yourself. You know, stop letting the world, you know, take your time from you. We all have the same 24 hours. So what are you doing with your time? You know, be intentional about it. You know, a lot of us maybe say we don't have time to meditate, but then we watch TV for 2 hours. So it's like all about priorities, man. Making time to reconnect with yourself and get in touch with yourself. That's so important. It really is. Let's see. One more thing is to slow down and practice gratitude. And this is something that I always come back to. It's the slowing down. It's the pace of life. When we're running through our life, when we're always running and rushing, you know, this is really something that's so important. I feel that when we don't give ourselves time to slow down, then it's not possible that we're gonna ever perceive the beauty that's already here. And then we're gonna miss our life, you know? When we're running and rushing to the future, we're missing our life. And we're not being grateful for, we're not being grateful for what we have, which is now. All we have is now, right? Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for tuning in now with me. Practicing gratitude for what we already have. And when we give ourselves time to slow down and sniff the flowers, or look at that little cute little baby laughing, that's all happening now. The baby, the flowers, watching a bug fly around. The more that we can tune in to all the little miracles going on around us, the more that we can really remember how beautiful life is. If we don't slow down, then we're not going to feel that breeze on our face. We're not going to smell those chocolate chip cookies. We're going to be running to the future, never truly being here. And you can't experience peace in the future. You never can, because it's not real. It's not a real thing, Future is all in your head. So when we can live now, like in this moment, this is real, right? This is as real as it gets. This is the only place where we can find peace and experience peace. When we're living in an imaginary future or remembering the past, we're not being present for life. We're not truly being grateful for life. And I don't mean not to imagine a better future, and I don't mean not to remember amazing things. I just mean, if it's habitual, always escaping this moment, then that's gonna create anxiety, that's gonna create whatever, and that's, I think, a big reason why a lot of us are not satisfied, is because we don't take the time to slow down and practice gratitude, right? Being grateful means slowing down and looking around and taking it in, So yeah, man, that was a couple things for just finding peace and getting in touch with the peace that already exists. We have to be willing to look at ourselves and look at all the ways in which we create misery and evade peace, covering up the peace that's already there. We have to look at that. We have to be willing to get in touch with ourselves and, really be honest with ourselves. If we want to grow, which I hope we do, because this planet needs us. So thanks for being here with me, guys. If you're still watching, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, hit it up. Fucking love you guys, man, and I really appreciate you. And take care. We'll see you later.